You are welcome to the Pixellab app. This is the sample of the logo we are going to be designing with Pixellab app. In this logo class, I will teach you step by step how to design this beautiful 3D logo. Nobody can believe that this 3D logo has been designed with a mobile phone. But actually, you are going to see it now that it is designed with a mobile phone. And you can do it if you follow me step by step. First of all, I will need to take this logo to hide it somewhere to bring in my shield. Like I told you, when you are designing, you don't joke with this particular icon. I told you before, the plus icon. That is where we are starting from to bring in our circular shield. Let's click on it. Let's select shape. Now it is shape we want to select. You select shape. Click on shape. Now we are on shape. Now you choose circle. Like I told you, when you are in shape, it will give you a square shape. But when you look down below your screen, you are going to see a blue square shape with a drop down arrow beside it. Click on the drop down arrow, and then it will show you all the option of shapes that Pixellab has to offer you. Click on circle. When you get to click on circle, try to enlarge your circle. Make it bigger. Make it bigger. I think I am okay with this size. If you're okay with this size, do not add anything to it. Just click on the mark sign to say okay. Then it takes you back to your drawing board. Now, if you look at the design we are designing, it is purple color. That design is in purple color. You can see it very well. You can see it very well. It is purple color. Now we want to give our shield the same purple color. How do we achieve that? And we want to give the exact purple color that we have given to the sample we are using. How do we achieve that? Very, very simple. Remember I told you in our last class that when you are dealing with objects, and you want to edit the object, you are going to use this icon that is like polygon at the bottom here beside the letter A. So we click on it. Now you see, immediately I click on it, it brought us several options where we can edit our drawing. Now you scroll and scroll and scroll. This shouldn't be new to you. I took my time to introduce all these to you in our last class. Now what we are looking for is color. So this is the roller that represents the color icon. You click on it and then you enable it. When you enable it, it gives you color red. Don't worry, we don't need color red. We actually need color purple, so we won't bother ourselves. Now looking at our color palette below here, you will discover that we have this dark purple, and we are not using dark purple. We want to use the exact purple that we have on our design, the copy of our design that I show you. How do we achieve that? Don't worry, just click on this plus sign beside your color palette. Click on it. Yeah, it will take you to a bigger color palette where you can select any type of color whatsoever you want to use for your work. But we are not going to select any color here. Do you know why? Because I don't want our design to be different from the sample I showed you. So what are we going to do? We will click on our color picker. Look at it, it's up here. It looks like a syringe. Just click on it. When you click on it, it brings you to this particular interface. And then it shows you, when you look up, you will see the circle you have made in a square shape. And also the sample of the logo we are designing in another square shape. Now, since we want to color our own circle in the very same color with with the design I show you, we will click on that logo design. Click on it. You can see it has brought the logos design into our drawing board. Now all you need to do, you will discover that there is a circle in between that logo design. Move that circle to your desired purple color. In the upper right here, we can see that it has selected purple. So we will click on OK beside the purple color that has just been selected. Let's click on OK now. Then it takes us back to our bigger color palette. We also click on OK, and then back on our drawing board. You can see we now have the exact purple color. Can you compare the two? Is there any difference? No, there is no difference. We are having the exact purple color that we have on our sample. You can see the sample is at the back and our drawing is in the front. I deliberately did it like that so that you can be comparing the two to one another. So from here, what do? We now click on OK. You remember the check sign, the mark sign is what stands for OK here. So you click on it and then it takes us back to our full drawing board. Now when you look at our own design, you will see that it is very flat. It is in 2D form. And then the sample I show to you is in 3D. It is embossed. And now what are we going to do? How do we apply that effect? Very simple. I want you to scroll towards your right, and then towards the end of all the tools you have in your toolbar at that side. Now you are going to see a tool. It is the embossed was inscribed below it. That is the tool we are going to use. Embossed was inscribed below it. Let me see if I can show you the tool very well here. Can you see it? Can you see my red arrow pointing to it? That is the tool we are going to use. Very good. So we click on it. When you click on it, you enable it. Just enable it. Now, very good. Can you see what a magic? Our 2D drawing has suddenly turned to a 3D embossed circle. But are we done yet? No. You will also discover that when we have done that, you will see that our design has changed a little bit in color, away from what we want it to be. Don't worry, it is lighter than the particular sample I show you. Don't worry, just scroll down a little. Come to this ambient light. Ambient light. We are going to reduce our ambient light. Let's do that now. We will reduce the ambient light a little. Yeah, you can see as I'm reducing it, it's returning back to our color. It's returning back to our color. You keep reducing the ambient light. Keep reducing it until you achieve your color back. Yeah. Now, very good. Very good. Now we have achieved our color back. I reduced the ambient light to 24. So you should do the same on your mobile phone. So we click on OK. Now you can see that we have the same shield as our sample. This is great. I'm enjoying this. This looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. Now the next thing we are going to do, you will discover that we are having too much of light at the upper part of our own design. Can we reduce the light? Yes, you can. All you need to do is to reduce the angle 90 here, and reduce that angle, reduce it a little bit, take it away from 90. Okay, we increase it to 93. I think let's reduce it a little. I don't want us to increase it. I want us to reduce it a little. Okay, we leave it at 80. I love it at 80, so I click on OK. Now the next thing we are going to do is to type our Lady T. you will see the Lady T is in a 3D form. Are we going to type it in a 3D form? No, you will type it normally, then we will convert it to 3D. How do we do that? Let's type first. Now we go back to our plus sign, you click on it. This time around, you click on text, the very first option. Now you use your hand to drag your text into the middle of what you want to type on. So remember I told you in our first class that when you want to type a text, you select the A sign at the bottom here. You click on it. When you click on it, all these other icons for editing will appear. Then you click on the edit pencil directly above the letter A that you click on. So let's click on it. Then it takes us to our keyboard where we can do our typing. Let's clean away what is here, and then we type Lady T in capital letter. Let's type that. Lady T. This is good. Then we click on OK. Now we have our Lady T. So we want to make it bigger. You go to size. I show you how to locate size. Your size icon is this icon with double T, and an inscription of size is written below it. Just click on it. Then you are going to increase your size. You increase it. You can see it increasing. Now let's put it within our shield to see if it is not too big. To me it is too big. I want to reduce it a little. Let's reduce it a little. Yeah, I think it's okay like this. Then the next thing we want to do is to look for a beautiful font for this. Now we are going to use the exact font that is used in that design, and I think it is Amaranth Bold. Let's check if I'm right. Yes, I'm right. It's Amaranth Bold. Then we are going to increase it a little bit more. Let's increase it a little bit more. Let's go back to size and increase it a little bit more. I think I will leave my size at 95. 95 is okay for me. Then after you might have turned your size to 95, we go for color. Remember what we did the other time? We did not just choose any type of color. We make sure that we choose the exact color that was on our shield at the sample I showed you. The same thing we are going to do for Lady T. We are going to choose the exact color on that Lady T. How do we do it? Remember what I told you in our last class, that when you are dealing with text, your color icon will show as a cup that is drawing water. But when you are dealing with objects, your color icon will show as a roller. We have experienced the two again in this design. When we were making our circular shield, the color icon was like a roller. Now when you look at the color icon now, it is like a cup that is dropping water. That is the difference. That appears when you are dealing with text. So we click on that color icon. Very good. Now we cannot see our choice of color here. What do? We click on the plus sign beside it so that we can go and add it. Click on the plus sign. It takes you back to our palette here. Now we are not going to use the bigger palette. We will be using the color picker tool. When you look up, you are going to see two different icons, two different tools that look like syringe. We are using the first one to pick our color. Just click on it. Yeah, it brought us to the very place it brought us the other time. Click on the logo we are designing again, and then immediately we click on it. You will discover that the circle in between that logo has already picked our color for us. So we go up and click on OK. We check the mark sign, and then it brings us back to our bigger palette. We say OK, and then we have our Lady T. Can you see the magic? It looks like magic. No, friends, it's not magic. It's not magic. You can do it. You can do it. Just follow me step by step. Then you okay it. You say this okay. Then you look for a particular tool that say 3D tool. That is where we are going to do our magic. Watch me as we do our magic. You click on the 3D. Don't make a mistake. You have two 3D icons here. If you look at my screen very well, one is in a kind of bracket. We are not using that one. Another one is very bold. It's written 3D in a very bold way, having perspective. That is the particular one we are going to use. So we click on it. As you click on it, it tells you to enable it. Let's enable it as usual. You can see our Lady T is changing gradually. But has it changed to what we want? No, it hasn't. Now, below here you will see perspective, and you also see oblique. I'm using oblique. So I click on oblique. Yeah. Can you see the magic? Our Lady T has suddenly changed to a 3D design. So what are we going to do? I discovered that the Lady T is just the depth of our 3D design is too big. So I will reduce the depth. Instead of 13, I'll reduce it to a lower color. This is 4 and this is 8. Yes, I will leave it at 8. I will leave the depth at 8. I changed the depth to 8. This is good. I love it. So you click on OK. Now, my 3D has already been added, but it's not shining. I want a shining effect on it. What am I going to do? Very simple. I go back to all my tools, my editing tools. I click on the icon that says emboss. Just click on it, emboss, and then you enable it. Just enable it. Very good. Can you see the shining effect now? That's the magic, right? It's not a magic. You can do it. We are doing it together. You can see it. I told you cannot believe the kind of 3D logo you can produce using your Pixellab apps if you know how to use it. And I believe you are no longer new to Pixellab apps since we have started this class. Very good. Now let's move on. You can see that our Lady T is shining now. That is the very effect I want on it. I click on OK. Now I want to add a little bit of shadow to it to make it look unique and real. Now when you look at my screen, you are going to see 4 circles on my screen. The first one has the inscription stroke under it. The second one has the inscription shadow under it. The third one has the inscription inner shadow under it, while the last one has the inscription emboss under it. Which of the 4 are we going to use? We are using the one that says shadow. Please don't use inner shadow. There is difference between shadow and inner shadow. If you mistakenly press inner shadow, it's going to give you a different effect entirely. So we are clicking on shadow. Just click on shadow. Let's click on shadow. Now it tells you to enable it. You will enable it as usual and see what happens. Can you see it has applied shadow to our very design? But as it applies shadow to our design, we are going to make sure that we do a little amendment. So we scroll down, we scroll down, we scroll down, we scroll down, we scroll down. And then when you scroll down, you are going to see offset X and offset Y. I want to add more of the offset to my X axis. Yeah, I love it this way. And I will also add more of the offset to my Y axis. Let me add like 4 or 5 to my Y. Let me add 4. I add 4 to my Y, while I add 7 to my X. I love it this way. I love it this way. So I click on OK. Now look at it. Are we getting the very particular logo we are designing? Are we? Compare the two. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Let me bring the design, the copy we are designing to the front so that you can see it. Let me see. So you can see it properly. Let me bring it to the front. Can you see it? Lady T Photo Lab. Compared to what we are designing, you can see we are achieving the same thing. This look good. Now let's go back to our design. Let me take it to the back again so that we can continue with our design. Very good. Our design is now in the front. Now the next thing we are going to do is to bring our photo lab into it. How do we do it? The same way we have been doing it. Remember the plus sign. That is what we are going to use again. The plus sign. Remember, this is the plus sign. That is where we are going again. So let's go back to that place again. We click on it and we select text. Now we have our text. So we drag it, just move it to where you want to type your photo lab. And let's go back to our keyboard. How do we get to our keyboard? We click on the T icon at the bottom, the T icon. Then we click on the pencil edit above the A icon.